Molly Bowman, and I'm going to discuss some common language misconceptions based on the way that bilingual education has received criticism in the national media recently. So we're going to discuss those in this brief presentation.
Just some types of bilingual programs that are offered. We do have a transitional bilingual program, and then we have our dual language immersion program. With the transitional, you can be placed in an early exit or a late exit. Early exit just means that you've been in the bilingual program for maybe 2 years. So if your child started in kindergarten, they could exit by 2nd grade and be put into a mainstream classroom, just meaning that all their peers speak English proficiently. And then the late exit would correspond to a student who needed a little bit more time learning the second language, which is totally fine and common, and so that they would exit probably right before middle school in the 5th grade. Our dual language immersion program, we have one-way and two-way. Our one-way program is going to be where you have a classroom full of students who are learning English. And so in this classroom, they'll be working hard to develop both of their languages. And then in the dual language immersion two-way program, this is where at 50-50. Some of the students speak English, and then some of the students speak another language such as Spanish. And so our English students are going to be learning Spanish, and our Spanish students are going to be learning English. So these are all wonderful programs that your child can be placed in, depending on the school district. Molly's going to tell you a little bit more about some misconceptions.
So my first common language misconception is that a lot of immigrant children have learning disabilities, but not language problems, when in fact they could just be in the process of learning the language, and people say they're not as smart academically. So to go a little deeper in that, having face-to-face interaction when it comes to language, it takes less time to learn the language, and whenever you listen to students on the playground, it could sound differently than how you hear them talk in the classroom, because that socialization is a lot different than the academic language. And they can just, like I said earlier, still be in the process of learning the language, but it will sound different on the playground than in the classroom. And that is still okay. They just need time to process everything and learn the language appropriately. So Emily's going to talk to you about the second language misconception, and here she is.
So another language misconception is that learning another language will confuse a child and make it hard to learn 2 languages at once. And this is not true. Research has shown that children can distinguish languages from infancy, so they can tell the difference between English and Spanish and Chinese from just a few weeks old. So we also know that mixing 2 languages is developmentally accurate for a child to do. That just means that he or she is trying to get their point across. They're trying to make their needs and wants known. So if a child is mixing 2 languages, they're not confused. They are just wanting to communicate. We also know that right now that there's no evidence showing that bilingualism is harmful. In fact, we know that it is beneficial not only in school, but after school and then into life later on, 50, 60 years down the road. Now Mariah is going to talk about another language misconception.
Well, to wrap up our presentation, I just wanted to talk about one last thing. So children learn second languages quickly and easily. While this may be true, it is still difficult for students. I know these programs will be aggressive, but in the end there are so many beneficial factors. Some research talks about the critical period hypothesis, which is basically just saying that children at a young age can absorb so much information, and by this we know that our bilingual programs are successful. And so learning a new language and keeping up with the old language is going to help the student become bilingual, and there is, of course, very beneficial, like I said. And so this gives the child more incentive as well, because it also develops their social language as well as their academic language. And so while you may see at first that the social language may develop on the playground, later on we do know that the academic language will come and help our students be successful in these bilingual programs.
So in conclusion, we just want to say that research has shown that bilingualism actually helps students throughout middle school and high school. It is shown that students who are in bilingual programs have a lower dropout rate when compared to monolingual students. We also know that students who learn a second language, they realize that they aren't expected to know it right then, and that comes with qualified teachers. And we hope that we have convinced you that bilingualism and dual language classrooms are beneficial not only while the student is learning English, but also throughout the rest of their life.